Today's weather update video, we're going to be talking about the severe weather risk that's going to be happening up in the northern plains, and also talking about the update of our new tropical storm that could be hitting the Carolinas soon. So for the severe weather for today, we do have ourselves an enhanced risk over here in southeast Montana, western South Dakota, and a little bit of northeast Wyoming. And with it, we're going to be seeing damaging winds that could be up to a 30% within 25 miles of a point, as well as a hatch risk that also does surround that, which means it could be seeing damaging wind gusts 70 plus mile per hour gusts. In the hail threat, we do have a very big slight risk of a 15% chance. And in that, we do have a much smaller hatch risks for hail. So 2+ inches of hail are very possible within this zone that I have just circled. Our tornado risk is only a 2% chance. However, it still is going to include some parts of Rapid City, typically the western part of that, but Billings, Montana will be in that. So, it might be small, but that doesn't mean that a couple of tornadoes cannot be ruled out at all. Actually, I just forgot, but there is also a tornado risk over here in the Carolinas as well. So Charleston, Myrtle Beach, Wilmington, we need to beware of tornadoes, because our tropical storm, which I'm going to be talking about in here in just a minute, is going to be coming through today. So we could be seeing, again, we can't rule out a couple of tornadoes that could be possible. Day 2, we do have a slight risk over here in the plains, as well as a much larger marginal risk surrounding that. Also over here in the Carolinas with our tropical storm, we could be seeing severe weather, as well as up here in northern Maine, we could be seeing some severe weather. Day 3, this plains still, we could be seeing some severe weather with a small slight risk with a much larger marginal risk. And also we do have a marginal risk up here in upstate New York and northern Vermont. Now, our flash flooding risk is going to include 5 different areas, but I'm mainly concerned about 2 different areas. Down here in central Texas, where we've been having that major flooding happening in central Texas, that threat is still going to be possible over there. Also over here in the Carolinas with that tropical storm coming through, we could also be seeing some flooding as well. And then we also do have 5% chance in the smaller areas, but again, flash flooding can still not be, ruled out within any of these areas. Day 2, there's not really a confined risk for a slight chance of flash flooding. However, we do have 4 areas where, flooding cannot be ruled out still. And I could even think over here in the Carolinas that it could be upgraded to a 15% chance. I think there is that chance that they could do that, depending on how slow moving and how much heavy rain that this tropical storm could produce. And to day 3, it's still going to be the same with 2 little french fries, I guess I'm going to call it, of 5% chances of flash flooding. And then over here in the Carolinas and a little bit of Virginia, we are having some of the flash flooding happening over here. And over here, we do have tropical storm Chintal, which right now we can see that it is still over the Atlantic over here. However, we could see by the chart of uncertainty, we could be seeing that this thing is going to move right through Charleston, Myrtle Beach to Wilmington, North Carolina. This can also hit like places like Raleigh, Greenville, up into Richmond, Virginia. We could be seeing some of that as well. So, and the risk of uncertainty doesn't mean that's where it's exactly going to go to. The range could be even much bigger than this. So, places all the way up to Columbia, South Carolina, maybe even Charlotte as well. Virginia Beach, we could be impacted by this as well. Now, this is the chart of uncertainty, or the cone of uncertainty, I should say, is where, this is where most of the stuff happens. This is where most of the severe stuff happens. This is where, you got your X marks the spot happening. But obviously, around that, we could still have a chance, but, the chances get much less. Now, when we go through this evening into throughout evening to late evening, we can see that some swords in Montana and Wyoming are going to start moving east, and any of these could be producing large hail and damaging winds. And remember, we do have a hatch risk for both wind and hail. And, a couple of these cells, too, could even have some tornado potential in them as well. And then as we kind of move out late evening into overnight, overnight is when the Dakotas will be mostly impacted. And then this could even go throughout, mid overnight into very early morning. So make sure you have your phones on, because I always say that in these videos, and it's important. It literally can be your lifesaver. It could literally be your only warning that you'll have with these storms. So you need to make sure that you have those alerts turned on your phone. Now, over here in the Carolinas, when the tropical storm is moving through, we can see that kind of throughout evening, it is going to start spinning a lot more. I would think majority of the rain is going to get in right past midnight. But obviously, right at midnight, we could be seeing a tornado threat ramp up over here. And, a tornado here and there is something that I would expect to probably happen with this tropical storm. And, this thing is going to be a slow mover, which is why I think that the excessive rainfall chances could go up even more if this thing is expected to drop heavier amounts of rain and move at a slower pace. In the United States, we are still going on with some drought up here in the Midwest into the West Coast. We are having some drought happening. And over here in Florida, we've still been dealing with some drought too. Around the Miami area, we could be seeing, some severe to extreme drought possible. And over here in the Midwest, some areas are experiencing no drought, and some areas are experiencing up to severe drought. And up here in Idaho and Montana, we've been seeing some extreme drought happening, which is not good for farmers, especially with their crops out in this type of season where we're growing corn, wheat, and all that other stuff. And, drought is a big problem in the Midwest. This is where most of the farms are in the United States, and we need to be careful of these droughts that continue to happen. And also over here in some metro areas in the East Coast, we are experiencing some drought. New York City, Baltimore, Washington area, even some suburbs of New Jersey, we currently are seeing drought. Remember, this is current drought that is happening. So we need to be, mindful of the droughts that are happening. Now, throughout the 6 to 10 days, we could be seeing that majority of the country is going to be warmer than average temperatures. Except if you're over here in the plains and Midwest, you could be seeing near normal average temperatures. Next 8 to 14 weeks, again, it's still going to be the same. Majority of the U.S. is going to be in that warmer than average zone, unless if you're down here in southern Arizona or a little bit of Seattle, Washington, maybe you'll experience some near normal to cooler than average temperatures. 3 to 4 weeks, and this is actually reset. Over here in the northeast of the United States, as well as the Pacific Northwest, we could be seeing a much more hotter than average normal temperatures that we could be seeing in these areas. And if you're in the plains, we could be seeing, near normal average temperatures happening. For precipitation, we are seeing that over here, kind of in the West Coast in Nevada and Utah, we are seeing a lot of, this is where our drought area is too. So we are not seeing a lot of precipitation over here. Otherwise, in the East Coast especially, we are seeing a lot more precipitation. And throughout the next 8 to 14 days, the southeast here could be experiencing much more than average precipitation. While over here still, in like Nevada and Utah, even extending into states, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, Dakotas, we are seeing, the extended period of drought or below than average precipitation, at least, still happening over there. And then within the next 3 to 4 weeks, the eastern part of the coast is still going to be, a little bit above average. Same thing down here in the southwest, but still over here in the northern plains, that, precipitation barren is happening over here. We're barely seeing any of that precipitation happening, which is causing a lot of our Midwest and West Coast drought happening. Now, within the next 24 hours of me making this video, we could be seeing that over here in the Midwest and Great Lakes, we could see some swaths of 1 to 3 inches. Down here in Texas, especially central Texas, we could still, some areas could still see up to 4 inches down here. And up here in Montana and North Dakota, where our severe risk was yet for today and through tomorrow, we could be seeing some areas of 1 to 2 inches possible, which could help out some drought in some cases. Now, over here in the Carolinas, where our tropical storm is coming from, some areas could see up to 4 inches. So we are going to have a large swath of 2 to 4 inches happening over here in North Carolina. And then as we extend into the next 48 hours, that could also extend up into Virginia and as well as a little bit of Maryland. All right, and that's going to be the end of today's weather update video. So if you guys like to make sure you see another one, make sure you guys like and subscribe, have those notifications on, and also join the Huntweather family. We are trying to expand maybe quickly as possible or slowly, whatever you think of it as. Try to join and try to share with other people about this YouTube channel. Maybe it's being helpful, or in some other cases, even more helpful. So, see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.